Looked like we came out pretty healthy. First of all, I hope that Shiloh and Shador are okay. Looked like both of them. Looked like Shador could have maybe. I don't know if he could have finished or not, but Shiloh got taken in, was out. So hopefully they're both okay. I think they're great players, great competitors, and wish them the best. But really proud of our team. Defense scored second week in a row. We got some contributions. My kind of game. We won the game. There's still a lot to improve. So I get to be the coach and be happy at the same time for a night. So with that, I'll see what questions you have.
What did you think of the atmosphere inside the stadium? Was it what you hoped it would be?
It was electric. Again, the crowd noise was fantastic. The energy was fantastic. I think our players fed off that. And I think it's in this modern era of communication, all that, it's really hard to play in an atmosphere like that. So, thank you to the student section. They were there early. Thank you to our fans. It was really a special night.
After last year's loss in Boulder and coming back this year and just making a statement with this win, what does that mean for the rest of the season then?
I don't think it's like I said. I don't think it's a referendum. I think last year had to happen so that this year could happen. I think that's a lesson I take with me all the time. Sometimes bad things have to happen to you so that the old you can die and a new one can be born. So a lot of guys that chose to come back and play with us this year, go through the struggle. They came back. A lot of young guys didn't have a chance to really play. We won the turnover battle for the second week in a row. I don't know that we turned the ball over. We had a block punt, which obviously isn't good enough, but. So we have to keep getting better, right? But this was a big moment, So it was really big for us to show up and not back down from their stars because we're a little different. Our team is our star, right? And while I know Dylan's getting a lot of publicity, and we have a lot of guys who could be stars, our defense is a star. So everyone kept talking about this guy, that guy, that guy, and I kept saying, hey, they're forgetting our defense. They're forgetting the black shirts. And had we not had that block punt, lean to that field position and then that tough targeting call, they wouldn't have scored today. And so even at the end, we chose to take a knee. So it was just kind of an overall win. But, hey, we got to play again next week. We got a lot to do.
I know that you brought some pressure in the second half on Shador, but a lot of what you guys were able to do, you did with 3- and 4-man pressure. How proud were you of your defensive front tonight and the relentlessness and passion? Yeah,
there was, and even the pressures we brought, sometimes we were bringing we're dropping a guy and bringing one, so still really like a 4-man rush. I mean, we had a couple, he brought all-out pressures in. He brought one the 4th and 1. But for the most part, we just played coverage. We trusted our big guys. And really the times they made plays were they got outside of us, So if we were coaching the guys hard tonight, coaching them the whole way through the game. I mean, we have to learn how to play with a lead. That game really wasn't much of a contest in the second half. And so you're sitting there hey, we just not turn the ball over. We have to find that middle place of aggression, and so we're still working through a lot of that, right? But I thought the defensive line came to play. I mean, they had a really good week of practice, but as importantly, there was no one running free. They didn't have any free runners. They hit one seam ball. They were going empty, but I thought a lot of guys, and even Willis got in at the end, gets a sack fumble, so big day for him.
How important do you think it was to your guys to set the tone physically from the start?
Yeah, we have 3 goals: win the turnover battle, be the most physical team on the field, and have a culture of execution. There was a ton of penalties, just a ton of penalties. And, we have the iPads now. I looked at a lot of them. We'll wait and see. I was disappointed. We didn't get many calls going our way. It's a Big 12 crew, so I can't get fined by them, I don't think, so I'll say that. So there's a lot of things to fix, but I thought we were really physical, and I thought even that first run, again, I hate that Shiloh got hurt, but, I thought Dowdell set the tone with his physicality, running the football, and, but we are a physical team. We might have some areas that we have to improve on, but we are a physical team.
Can you say about just Ty Robinson and he blocked a field goal, had a sack on the first series, just his impact?
Yeah, well, honestly, sometimes I want to say I told you so. Last year I kept saying how good he was, and everybody kept saying, well, it's stats. I'm just telling you. And so, he's a dominant player. Every scout that comes in, I'm just telling you guys, he's a dominant football player that can play 4 positions, and he plays hard. He about broke my neck walking down the thing because he was so happy that we won. He grabbed me, and because he's one of the guys who came back. I love him. I'm proud of him. So, that's why I'm not doing a big referendum on it. To me, this was like my guys. I said something on Tuesday or Wednesday, Tuesday press conference that no one really picked up on. I said, hey, I think Sam asked me about Shador saying what he said about me, and I really didn't care. I had a great visit with some of those guys before the game. But I said, hey, you know what? He's defending his father. My son would too. And I said, I think I got some guys in there I think will too. And I love Ty. I love Jamari. I love those guys. This has been the best. This has been one of the best experiences of my life coaching these guys. So I'm happy they had a chance to get a win. And they're going to come in on Monday and they're going to think it's the worst game they ever played by the time we're done. And we'll get ready for next week.
What did Dante and Ramir show you that allowed them to get the bulk of the carries that they did tonight?
Yeah, I thought we had some flash plays early, and so I just kind of stayed with them. Even Ramir has that long run at the end, but this is a game. This was a game that we just kind of went with. Even across the board, we didn't do a ton of rotating. We just kind of played the guys that on defense. We played most of the older guys, and just a unique game. Got up early, but there's no referendum on those other two. Gabe and Emmett will play a ton of football as we move forward. But I thought early on Dante set the tone, and Ramir did some good things, so we kind of just stuck with them.
How did you feel like Dylan played? And then in the second half, were you guys trying to make sure that he didn't put it in harm's way with some of the players?
Yeah, it wasn't really about him. It was just, honestly, the heart. I mean, you're not going to have a lot of games like that in the Big Ten where you're like, hey, they can't score. So if they can't score, what do you do, right? So again, I was pushing us on offense to be aggressive. Again, you take away some of those penalties, and we are pretty aggressive, right? And we had some mistakes, right? We call a counter, the guard doesn't pull, or something happens wrong, and we get hit for a loss. And we have to get a lot better in the field goal game. Like I should be able to kick those field goals, and so we have a lot of work to do. The snaps still aren't. We have some things to work on, and that's not calling anybody out. That's just coming out of the game, like game flow. Hey, let's just add 3 points here. Let's add 3 points there. But a lot of those penalties really hurt us. That'd have been a 300-400 yard rushing game if that long run and all that. Because I think we finished with 185. So, I forgot. I'm sorry, Sam. I forgot what you said. I'm pretty excited right now.
Dylan played. And
Oh, I thought
you guys
Dylan played
trying to, make sure he didn't throw an interception.
No. I mean, we they were bringing a ton of heat. We were having a hard time picking up. They were bringing everybody, right? And we just we got some DPIs. We took a couple shots. We were just think back to the one goes off Thomas's hands, one goes off Jalen's hands. We hit Jalen on the one, so we let him let it rip. But hit the seam ball, backed up. We were backed up at 2nd and 20. We throw a seam ball to Borkacher. So I didn't think we just overall just kept trying to find, because we got up to 75 yards rushing right off the bat. And then they just changed everything. When Shiloh went out, they started playing some cover too. They started bringing some different pressures, and defense scored, and just felt like we got a little discombobulated maybe. But I'm going to put the ball in Dylan's hands. I trust him.
Your guys have even started to talk about complementary football, and you had the moment last week after the safety, after Bushini's punt down to the 2 with the big 6. How much of that is the kind of stuff that you've been preaching to them for a year and a half, and how big of a moment and momentum do you think that was in the team?
That was a huge moment. I was really happy for Brian. And a couple of times I said to the guys on the field, even like when we start talking to the other team, I said, hey guys, we've been trained. Like we know, we botched the 2-minute warning. Like we could have milked the clock down to 1 second and gotten the ball to the 2-minute warning. So we gave the ball back to them, which is was not good enough. Now luckily we got the ball back, and then we went down and scored. It's 2 weeks in a row now. Dylan and the offense have gone down in 2 minutes right before the half and put the ball in the end zone. But I think the complementary football's there, and our guys are understanding it, and I think the coaches are doing a good job preaching it.
Hey, Coach, this is a team that you played tonight that brought in an entire new offensive line, and your front seven seemed to not have much of an issue with that. Is that more the players executing, or is that something you saw on film?
I think we have good players. I just think we have really good players. I haven't seen the tape yet, so it's hard for me to say what happened. But we have really good players. They execute a really difficult scheme that requires a lot of thought and a lot of teaching. And we think we have 5 or 6 or 7 starters on the front D line. I think MJ and Prince Will are interchangeable. We put Willis in at the end. He gets a sack fumble. I mean, we got really good players. It's a credit to the guys.
How happy were you for Tommy to have that moment? How hard he's worked the last year, that pick 6.
Yeah, I mean, everyone kept talking about the other team's corners. I kept saying, like, Tommy's a first rounder. And, he went to the other side. And Travis is a great player. I'm not saying anything about Travis. I'm saying, but Tommy's a good player too. And that's why I kept telling our guys at halftime, we have to – I didn't want to make this game about the other team because I think we have good players. I want to make it about us. I think we have good players, and Tommy's an excellent player. And he broke, and he didn't jump something. He played his technique. He broke. He saw it. He went and got the ball. He intercepted it, and then he went out and played the next drive. So I think Tommy's one of the best players in the country.
You talked about playing with a lead. Now that you've got some momentum, how do you coach these guys to prepare and play game after game with that kind of momentum and belief that the fan base has?
Yeah, our preparation will not be our issue. Our guys worked their butts off. I mean, we practiced really hard, and our guys worked their butts off. I think just, again, learning how to finish. We still haven't solved the close game thing because we haven't been in that. And I think probably a lot of people thought this would be a close game. I'll be honest with you. We expected this score. Like, we expected this to be like this. We have a good team, and we felt like we were going to play really well tonight. So we're going to go right back to work and treat this like a game that we lost. That's what we did last week. Like I told you guys, correct the correctables. And that's a really good football team. Like, they'll make a ton of noise in the Big 12. Guarding number 5 and guarding number 12 and guarding number 2. Those are as good a players as you'll play against, and on the defensive side, they're as active and violent a defense as we'll see. So we're just going to work, and I think the biggest thing is we have great competition. A lot of guys want to play. Ja'Cory keeps making plays. Now we got Jalen involved again this game. Thomas made a big catch down the middle. So we just have a lot more I think we have to get done.
Coach, with the defense playing as well as it has, and then you have Dylan off-platform throw across the field down to the 2 on national TV. Just how excited are you as a coach, and how excited should your fan base be right now?
Okay. And that was just for the play by Dylan was great. But that's a roll throwback. That was a great call, great play design. They said they had it, and it was cover 2. Jalen did a great job. The ability by Jalen to come back and get that ball was fantastic, and Dylan trusting him. But I think the biggest thing about Dylan is, we didn't turn the ball over. Like, we're protecting the ball, still being aggressive, and we've had a good defense. The defense just needed some help. We have a lot of work to do on special teams, right? We got a punt blocked, miss a field goal, kick. We got to give up a 70-yard kickoff return. So there's a lot of those things. In terms of the fan base, what I would say is, let's just take it one game at a time. Let's just where our players will get in trouble and everyone will get in trouble is we'll start zipping ahead to like 4 weeks from now, 5 weeks from now. We have not earned that right. We have not earned the right to start looking ahead. Like, all we're going to do is we're going to, like, even when we lost to Colorado, I remember with Trev, I said, just give it a year, Trev. I said, we'll play these guys next year and it'll be different. But that was just day by day by day work. And so we're going to come in this week and we're going to prepare like crazy for Northern Iowa. And I hope our fans, come out, and next week sounds just like this week, because it's really hard. I want the fans to know, I don't know how well we would play in that atmosphere if we were the visitor. It is so hard. And so if they can just do that every week, I'm telling you, it's an advantage. I don't know if I answered your question, but I think people should be pretty excited. I'm going to tell you something. Don't mistake my stoic look. I'm fired up, okay? I'm fired up, but I'm fired up for the guys, because those are my guys. And, and then Bud Crawford, he came in and talked to the team last night and let us out tonight, gave him a game ball. And, we wanted our guys to know that, we have celebrities here in Nebraska, too, that care about us. Anybody else? All right, thank you, guys.